A Guardian's Tale, written and narrated by YonathanJ. Part 7, Last Wishes. I look at the old man. He sits there, tears flowing from his rotting eyes. I can't help but despise him. What a waste of a life he had lived. I can't wait for him to die at last. Yet there is something admirable about his regrets, about the depths of his despair. I ask him, "Tell me, old man, why do you struggle so much to stay alive, if your life is so horrible?" And the old man's expression turned to anger, hate. He tells me that despite everything, there is still beauty in life. There is still hope in life. That perhaps death is truly something to be feared, to avoid, even through pain and suffering and madness. He tells me that even though he is now crippled by a hunting accident, and blinded by cruel crows biting his eyes out, and rotting alive, he has one final wish. He wishes to go back home and see his son one last time, see his troubled daughter one last time, and tell them that no matter what, he loves them, and that despite everything that happened, he loved their mother very dearly, and that it was all his fault, and that... Before he could finish, the old man coughs and struggles to breathe. I realized that at last he was drawing his final breath. Without thinking, I stand up and run to my souvenirs. There, what remains of my potion. I kneel down and throw away the cork. I pour down the potion in the old man's mouth, yet it is too thick. Quickly I run to the stream, fill it with water, and shake it. I slap the old man and pour it all down. He swallows. I'm thinking, maybe the potion could heal him as it healed me back then. And maybe he could, despite everything, no matter how unlikely and foolish, go back and see his family. And I stand there in front of him, for what feels like forever, nurturing this foolish hope that even death can be delayed if one wishes so strongly enough. Yet his breathing doesn't stop. Maybe I did save his life after all. I wonder, why, oh why am I helping this old man instead of putting an end to his life once and for all? Perhaps his wasted life is a reflection of mine. Perhaps there is no reason for it other than simple empathy. I get up and stretch, there, in front of the old man, the wooden totem he was carving as he talked. I pick it up and it is now a masterpiece. The sculpture makes sense now, and the faces of every figures are finished, polished, and even the daughter is angelic. The old man sure had a terrible life, yet I can't help but admire him. I hear a sudden clack and a whistling sound, and I turn around toward the edge of the forest in high alert. I barely dodge a bolt that bounces off the rock behind me. There, holding a crossbow, a tall man in full armor. He is reloading quickly, and behind him I see his eyes. The child. And next to him a fat, imposing man, in complete armor as well, holding a halberd. And so he did come back after all. I leave the old man and make a run for my spear and shield. I run and hear the clacking again. This time the bolt hits me in the leg, just above my left knee, yet I don't feel the pain. I lift up my spear, equip my shield and face the fat man approaching me, as the crossbowman circles around, taking a different angle. In his shadow, the kid, wearing the same colorful clothes as the last time. He is holding onto the man's tunic, and he seems ecstatic. He is giving orders to the two men, and on his face the expectations of victory. My mind is blank. Pure nothingness, only instinct and a vague hatred for the child, the ungrateful creature that dared come back to haunt me after I so foolishly spared him. The crossbowman unleashes another bolt that I block just in time, as the fat man attacks me with a fast swing of his halberd. I barely manage to deflect with my spear, and his weapon lands in the ground. He wields it with both hands, and so he has more control and power over it than I do with my spear and shield. The man launches another bolt that misses me barely. I start to panic. I can't deal with both men at the same time. The fat man lifts his halberd once more, and I make a run for the crossbowman and the child as he is reloading. I hear the man behind me screaming as he charges, his weapon swooshing the air right behind me. Before I could reach him, I catch another bolt to the shoulder and barely react in time, falling to my knee. I force myself to get up, and in one swing I push the edge of my shield in the fat man's face, stunning him. I grab my spear, and in 3 steps, like throwing a javelin, I throw it. The spear pierces the man's plate armor, and he falls backward on the ground, his crossbow sent flying. I turn around and, powered by adrenaline, I pummel with the edge of my shield the fat man's head as he struggles to fight back. By then I am screaming in rage. I face the crossbowman, yet he lays down the ground, my spear standing upright, swinging slightly. His armor must be quite cheap if I could pierce it so easily. And there, the child. He holds in his arms a crossbow, yet in his face I see it, terror. I suppose he didn't think I could handle both his knights. He aims a crossbow at me, yet with my shield up I approach him. I plan to strangle him with my 2 hands once I disarm him. Yet the kid's eyes shift away from me to the old man there. I forgot about him in the heat of battle. He coughs, and the kid smiles widely, looking at me with his hateful eyes. He shoots, pointing the crossbow toward the old man. I lunge, hoping to block the bolt with my shield or my body, yet I don't make it in time. The kid is struggling to reload the crossbow. He isn't strong enough, and behind me I hear the old man moaning in pain. The bolt did hit him. I approach the child slowly and savor the moment. The kid freezes and looks up to me. He is smiling. I hurry up and charge toward him, yet the bolt in my leg stops me, and I fall to my knees. The kid panics and slips up on the grass before getting up and running toward the edge of the forest, screaming in panic. This time I won't stop myself. I take out my sling, lodge in one of my carved stone, and take aim. I wait for him to reach the edge of the forest, where I know he won't resist to turn around one last time, and I let go. The stone flies through the air, and as the kid turns around, a smile on his face, it hits. A solid thud fills the air. The child falls on the ground. I take a deep breath. In and out. My leg is killing me, so is my shoulder. What familiar pain. I sit down and inspect my wounds. The bolts are quite short, but the blades are serrated to tear the flesh. Simply touching the bolts are so painful I nearly faint. I can only crawl over to the old man, avoiding the dying fat man on the way, his helmet fused with his head, a red, grotesque artwork. I crawl and get closer to the old man that was struggling to stay alive. The bolt landed in his chest. He asks me, of his dying breath, if he could see my face before he dies, see his last friend's face. He extends his hand, and I understand. I feel his fingers feeling every inch of my face. I feel his fingers going over my fangs and stop shaking. I feel his fingers going over my horns, and the old man gasps in awe. I can hear, from his dying breath, his last words. And so I was in hell all along? I close his eyes. What a shame. I hear, at the edge of the forest, squirming. I manage to sit upright, and through the pain I see him, the child, over there, at the edge of the forest. It seems my slingshot wasn't fatal. He's shaking on the ground. Over there, I can barely see a slight foaming at his mouth. He lays on his sides, and I can hear incoherent words from way over there. My shot wasn't fatal, but it seems it did enough damage. I sit there, enjoying without any shame the spectacle of the child's death, as I struggle to stay awake. He deserves it. Part 8. Gate. I remember waking every few hours and being delighted by the sight of the struggling, dying child that I hated so very much. And I remember being horrified by the old man's corpse sitting there right next to me. Maybe hope was dead after all. And I remember being amused by my own condition. I was thinking how absurd it was that in perhaps a few hours, a few days at most, I would join in death all the other fools that dared cross my path. I remember in delirium a fountain of hope, as I recalled my one trophy, my potion that would surely save my life, and realizing at once I had wasted it on the old man. And I remember just how hilarious everything was. I remember looking up at the night sky, to a crowned moon, an eclipse, and in the air, smoke. And behind me, there, as always, the gate. I struggled to get up, and do so with great pain, for I know that at long last the gate is opening. And open it did. The gate's runes were glowing in the shifting lights of the eclipse, and I felt unbearable heat emanating from it. I tried to back away, and stumbled and fell. I tried to get up once more, and an arm reached mine. I grabbed it and got up once again. There, holding my arm, emerging from the gate, a tall humanoid figure, its skin as grey as mine, his face demonic in nature. Long horns and deadly fangs, claws of death, surrounding him, a sort of aura, shifting as the heat above a fire. His eyes were of a deep blue, and his hand was warm. I saw him as a child sees his father. He tells me, without opening his mouth, "For 700 years you have guarded the gate. For that you have my utmost respect." The demon advances and looks around before turning back toward me again. "Of the 7 gates we built, only yours still stand, and from your duty this land shall burn by your hands." He walks up to the dead crossbowman, grabs my spear, and approaches me once more. "For your miracle here I shall reward you with a new body, with a new duty. Leave this life behind, leave this gate behind, and stand proud, for you are now the right-hand man of the devil." The devil puts one arm on my shoulders, smiles widely, and stabs me in the chest with my own spear, piercing me through and through. I fall to my knees, and I see my blood flowing down on the ground in front of me. From the gate I hear the rumblings of a great army. Left and right of me, dozens of demons of all colors flood the land. And there, in my own puddle of blood, I see my own reflection. This whole time I was a demon? I grasp the spear with both hands, and with all that remains of my strength I put it out. I take a few steps toward the devil and fall to my knees once more. I lift it up, and the devil catches it effortlessly. I look on the ground in despair and see the wooden totem. The devil catches my eyes, takes the totem, and tosses it in the fire. Its masterfully carved surface darkens and burns. The devil whispers to me, "Now be reborn and lay waste to this accursed world." Thank you so much for listening.